in a world where we were singing about Under the Sea last podcast, right? About the Lion King. But unfortunately, 5 people are under the sea currently. Rest in power to the people involved, the families. Um, I don't know where to go from there, but this is the vent. I'm one of your hosts.
I don't even know if you can play that intro music after that, yo, because it's like it's dark, but it's like, boy,
Yeah,
son.
I'm one of your hosts, Del Najero. I have my other host,
Hey.
the Nerd Z. And on the phone, I have my other host, Jay Hunterville.
Yes, I'm currently in an unknown location. Um, Let me ask you a question. Hold on, Nerdsy, are you getting ready right now? Are you putting on makeup?
Nah, I'm not putting on makeup.
This is no, this,
Oh,
this is not the makeup edition. That was episode 1 though. There might be more episodes in the future.
that was crazy. That was crazy.
Yeah,
Why?
where you just
Just a makeup tutorial while you're just working and
while you
talking at the same time.
while you work in the
I didn't
same.
know. I didn't know y'all could multitask when y'all do makeup.
But
Yes, of course.
that's efficiency though, right? Now, just to, I guess since we were talking about it in the beginning. Now, you were explaining that that's how the gentleman lost his life on the boat. Cause I heard it was an alleged prank, basically.
I
Did
heard
he
it
know
was
how
a
to
dare.
swim?
I'm
That's always
no,
the
he
question.
didn't. Damn, I was about to smoothly just okay. Let me behave. No, he didn't. He didn't know how to swim. No.
Like that doesn't it doesn't make sense for someone who doesn't know how to swim to all of a sudden jump onto a boat, off a boat, sorry, into the
We can't
water,
even,
even on a dare. That doesn't make sense.
Nerdsy, common sense ain't common anymore. We are
I
at
dare
that
you to
level,
jump off a
like,
boat and you can't swim?
Nerdsy, common sense is not common.
What did they think they were gonna do? Walk on water? Not everybody
Common
Jesus.
sense is not common anymore.
Levitation.
Like
That's
bounce back? They thought they were gonna skip like a rock? Like I don't understand.
skip like a
Common
rock. Wow.
sense. Common sense is not common anymore.
Like
It's
Wow.
just not.
I'm not
Like,
okay. You know what? And I hear you. I hear exactly what you were saying. But in saying that, I just gave 4 different scenarios of what coulda, shoulda, delusional responses to this mythology of thinking. To me, that does not sound like someone who is either in their sane mind, they sound like they were either intoxicated or coerced to do this.
Oh, you're going that angle.
Yeah, because if I
you
can't
don't
swing,
go
why am I going to go into something that I can't do?
common sense. Oh, don't tell. Hey, that's just a part of the game nowadays. Nowadays,
That that
I
that
can't do it. I'm gonna try.
that
Come on.
sounds what it sounds good what you're saying, Z. It sounds good,
Right.
but
It does. This is not what it is nowadays. Common sense ain't common.
Okay, well, we need to start promoting more of it. So, how about that?
Listen to me. If common sense was promoted, a lot of things will not be flourishing nowadays.
A lot of things would flourish, actually.
we would have
No, no,
water.
no, 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 no. A lot of things will flourish, but a
Yeah.
lot of things that people are trying to promote, like stupidity, won't be flourishing.
Well, we don't need it in our life. You know, like, it's one thing, okay, mind you, it would still always be there and it would still flourish regardless.
Right.
But instead, it would be from a mindset that is from, I never knew. That's the difference.
Right.
Versus, you don't know and, like, you're not going to go and jump off a cruise ship.
Yeah.
Some,
That's
but here's the
still.
thing. Some people is like, you never know, but you only live once.
But you
And
only live
listen to me.
once.
Some people are. Listen to me. Some people already
like-
know what the verdict is, but they still do it anyway. Because there's
I don't
still
think if
that
they
chance.
knew.
There's still that chance you survive, or maybe there could be other coherent things that change, and you know,
Like
we don't know
what?
intoxications.
Oh, someone's
could be
gonna go in the
drinking.
water after me and jump in and save me? Like, what?
Some people be drinking and doing the most, like you said.
See, but like I
if
said,
that person knew. Sukan didn't know she was gonna get her booty eat that day. She came to perform. That wasn't on the docket.
Yeah, but I mean, booty eating versus your life off a cruise ship, like off of a cruise ship. They don't weigh the
what's the
same.
correlation? You know what's the correlation?
It depends on the bootyology.
Like
Spontaneous.
Some booties weigh
it
the
still
same
don't
as
weigh
you.
the same
Okay, never
unless
mind.
that person was like biting a chunk out of her butt. Like
That's, yo, that's
it don't make no sense.
yo,
That was the only threat I can see here.
with the veneer teeth.
Yeah, like it's the only
Oh, no,
thing.
the veneers.
If
Oh
the
my
person was a
gosh,
cannibal,
no. The porcelains. Oh my goodness.
that's the only thing
No.
I can see as a threat here.
Oh man,
But being booty eaten versus the rapture of the waves.
the rapture of the waves.
But listen to me.
Yo,
It
Come
doesn't
on
matter
now.
to certain people. Not certain people. Certain to people is just what it is. It's the harsh reality of this world. Common sense is not common anymore.
Yo. That then the other part to my additional to the intoxicated or coercion is sheltered. That's the additional part.
Yes, that can happen.
they could be a very sheltered person.
There's no cause and effect. You didn't learn. Nobody was out here skinning you alive to make sure that you knew what the dangers were looking out for. These are whole practices, eh? Traditionally, people go out and learn how to hunt, kill, do all these things to survive because somebody put them out in the training grounds and skin their backside so they can learn this stuff.
So they could. I mean,
That's how the common sense came.
Nowadays, they don't. But that's the thing. Nowadays, people are all free thinking now. There's no type of standard.
Whoa.
This
We're
doesn't
not going to
understand.
change the terminology of free thinking and free thinker to debauchery, okay? Like, we're not
Wow.
going to do it.
Wow,
So,
okay,
okay,
that's-
so okay, but here's the thing. Let's be real. If that person had put it like this. If you go with the flow, I always said this to people. If you go with the flow, you'll always end up in a sewer. Lakes, rivers, waters, oceans, they all have borders for a reason.
oh, I think they're gonna quote TLC just now. Stick to the
Don't
lakes
go
and
chase the
rivers
waterfalls.
that you're used
Hi,
to.
bro.
A
The man
lot
said,
of
if
need
you
to
go
stick to
with the flow,
sorry,
you'll
but
always
you're
find a
just-
sewer.
And the funny, I don't even want to have this conversation because I feel like I'm being insensitive.
Ah.
Right.
But here's another thing.
That's
I'm starting
funny.
to realize. Have you realized that we've been like numb to death?
No.
Like,
We are not numb to death.
okay, we're not, but like, I'll say society. Like, I feel like we're kind of numb. We're getting to a point where it's like,
I don't think people are numb to death in society either.
Really?
for example, I think so.
No.
Well, okay,
Jackie
I'll
O
say
passed
social
away.
media.
Everyone was grieving with everybody who was grieving.
I mean, except for what's her name, but I mean, except for her. But
Yeah, except for
but-
his- Celia
No,
Banks.
I'll
Right,
say
right.
for social media.
Yeah, I don't think
That's
that
social
we
media, but
are
that's the thing. I get that. But like,
desensitized.
these submarine people, as crazy as it sounds, 5 people died.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
I mean, I mean,
They haven't found. They haven't found.
they.
Oh.
I mean,
Allegedly.
they didn't find. They said they found the debris, but they didn't recover the body yet. At least not that we know of yet.
Right? There's so many theories going around and circulating. They said that what was it? The implosion from that was one of the things that I saw.
The pressure from the ocean. The
Yeah,
deep pressure.
pressure of the
Makes
ocean.
sense. That
But
makes
then,
sense.
but how does that make sense when persons from the writers and illustrators from Simpsons, how many other people said that they too had been on this excursion and are still living to this day?
So with that,
Because maybe they went to I don't think they did it with OceanGate.
They did.
no, they did, but they didn't go as deep.
They didn't go.
They didn't go deep. They went only like 3,000. So this current one,
Yeah.
they were trying to go like 4. They were trying to really kiss the Titanic, because the Titanic is roughly 4,000 feet under.
I think it's more. It's down where
Or it's probably more. It's probably more. Yeah.
I think these people need to stop playing to where y'all need to stop. Leave where Namor is staying. Namor is not playing with y'all niggas.
Wow.
Okay. So then here's the other question. How did they recover the debris?
They didn't yet. They saw it.
They saw it. It showed up. I didn't even see it per se. I think it was a sonogram or whatever that.
See, and this is where it goes back to, I liked it back in the day when I was like 11 to 15 years old. On the Discovery Channel, they used to have these documentaries when people were diving.
Right.
Remember when they had the official announcements of so and so is going on this excursion to go and see and navigate, blah blah blah.
Right. Yeah.
What happened to those days?
Cousteau. Was it Jacques Cousteau and them
Yes.
Jacques.
And they would film the entire thing. There was a whole crew, entire scene was being done. You saw when they were in the gates with the sharks. When they were going around, they were swimming with the whales. When they went in Antarctica and whatever, and they were with the penguins. Like, you knew.
That's the. I mean.
You knew.
That was actually a good time. That was actually a good time, though. Like,
That's what I'm saying.
Shark Week was lit, though. That
He
a
was.
good time.
So it's like, whatever happened to that? Why did we stop doing that?
I don't like how this was announced. Like, I can't even tell like when it started. Like all of a sudden it was popping up. Like, oh, they can't find this sub. Oh, they have 96 of 96 hours of oxygen left. And I was just like, what?
How come there was no safety precautions? All these people
The
had
company
gone there,
cut corners allegedly.
and then
That's what it is. You see how they anchored it together? They used a hand ratchet.
Oh
Hand
what?
ratchet.
Oh what?
A hand ratchet. They were ratcheting it with a hand ratchet.
But
Not even a drill type impact. Not even impact. A hand ratchet.
no DeWalt,
No D1.
no Milwaukee,
No Milwaukee.
no Makita.
No Makita. Hand, we didn't even see the brand of the hand ratchet. Hand ratchet.
Don't tell me they put it together by hand. But like the important parts, you should use a machine, like an air pressure machine, right? You're telling me they Flintstone the thing?
Listen to me.
Allegedly?
Listen to me. This is what I don't understand. 250,000 for a seat.
Yeah.
You know what? Like, this is like that type of money baffles me because God willing, I hope to get to see that in my life.
Right.
You know? But like to use that one time on a ship that you can't even guarantee, like
your life.
the way I see it, I would have paid that much for a ship like a live stream to go down there. I don't need to be there. I need to be up there. Find some cameras to go down there.
So pay for a drone. Yeah. That's safer and
We
things.
can barely get up to space.
Listen.
I'm starting to realize that I don't think we got to the moon. To be real with you, we haven't been back since.
I cannot.
And you're telling me why? Because we can't make money? Having equipment. You see, when we go down this path of conspiracies, it makes me feel like a lot of other things are fraudulent. You know?
Wow, that's
We went to the moon the one time. Think about it. We went to the moon one time, and technology has only got better. And we can't go back. This whole time we can't go back?
Wait, no, I swear they went back.
Which man went back?
You said
I
it's
said, which man went back? Tell me his name right now. Right now. What's his name?
Which man went over there and came back?
That's hilarious.
It's gone to the point that when you ask Buzz Aldrin, did you actually went to the moon, he's throwing hands.
I found that always weird, but I have to research that again. But I always found that rumor weird. Like, no, like people would ask him, like, did you go to the moon? He's just like, oh! you gotta swing. Buzz, what are you doing? Buzz, no!
Buzz, to infinity!
I cannot.
You see what I'm saying? It just doesn't add up to me. And then now you want to tell me that you can't go up there because we don't have enough money to go up there?
They say the funding ran out after they landed. They came
After they landed, so they stuck up there because they can't get the trip back home.
No,
No.
that's not happening. No,
One way to the moon?
no, that's not happening.
One way ticket.
No, so they went, said, man landed on moon. They put the flag there. They put a laser there, and they came back down. And they're like, by the way, budget's cut, so they couldn't
Go back.
And then other attempts. Like, this is rocket science. Like, so like, the rocket will be taken off, and it'll be like, and explosion. And you're like, oh, another time it'll take off. Explosion. Everyone on board killed. Okay, another one. Where's it going? Okay, it's a lot of. It's tricky.
Jeez.
it doesn't make any sense. Like, condolences to people that passed away making that attempt and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely,
But it
definitely.
just, I feel like they're selling wolf tickets. Leave Titanic alone. Let me ask you a question. Has anybody else seen the Titanic since it sunk?
I mean,
Supposedly these people who have gone there and like went on this trip,
Right.
but I guess as we're saying, the depth of what people are wanting to actually reach the Titanic at, maybe not so. Maybe they've seen it peering out the little peephole that's included in that thing at a certain height, and they had to use a magnifying glass to really see it, but not at up and close where they kissing it or touching it, or they could possibly get a little stuck inside the railing,
yo,
And Nerd D, that is the reason why we don't need to go there in the first place.
But I mean, there's some things that I feel like there are some things, and I'm looking at this from a civilian human level of like extrospection type of things, right? I think there are some things, yes, I understand. There are some things that you're not really supposed to know. Because I think that if you do know them, you're treading waters into places where it's like borderline psychotic. Like, you're now going to be crazy once you get there. Because on top of it, how many other people are going to be able to relate to you?
Right.
So this is why I feel like it's borderline psychotic. Like, you're going to lose your mind in the process because you're going to be the only person who has experienced this. That's one. Two, I do think that we are supposed to find ways to learn more of where we're living and how we're living and how it's working and all these other stuff. But I feel like the more that we learn about the way that things work here, the more paranoid people may be.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because people are going to have to upkeep it. Now that they know and say that they're destroying it in a process, the more you know, the better you are supposed to do.
Right.
So now if people are become aware and they're like, oh my gosh, this is what we're doing, this is how we're contributing it, you're going to start telling people, no, don't do this.
Yeah.
No.
Like I've been saying, we should have been had water cars.
No.
You take a gallon or 5 gallon.
Right.
You put it in your car.
Right.
If you burn it, it turns steam. The steam goes to the atmosphere. Atmosphere goes to the rain. Rain goes to it's
Like, I'm actually kind of
harmonious.
shocked that we don't have carbon monoxide vehicles that change into oxygen.
I mean,
this all makes sense and it's all good, but how are they gonna make money off of this?
and that's
But that's what
the problem.
That's what the expeditions are for, right? Like, when you start producing more and researching and developing and creating, manufacturing, and producing the things and the trips to make sure that it's safe. Listen, the Wright brothers made a plane, and now we fly commercially. Okay, so
Please don't fly on Spirit. Please don't fly on Spirit. Just please avoid that one.
But put it
Go
like
Delta
this.
or something.
But put it like this. You have batteries, right? Everybody makes batteries, right? And that's a business that, people do unethical things to get the ions and all these things to make batteries, but everybody needs them. So it's like, okay, who cares about what happens on there? Yes, it's unethical, but we need it to survive, right? What if one person decides, which I allegedly heard happen, decides to create a battery that never dies? They are going to kill that person.
Supposedly, no, but here's this. It's not that they're going to kill the person. It's that the person's no longer going to be able to afford life. That's really what's going to happen. Because supposedly that's the same thing that's happening to the Instapot creator.
The Instapot creator?
Yes.
Do tell the audience who's listening, what is it, the Instapot creator?
So
what is
Instapot is a brand that specifically works in retailing kitchen gadgets and like what's it called? What are these things? Like mixers, pressure cookers, pancake mixer, pans, X, Y, and Z, right?
Right.
And supposedly, because the material of their stuff is so good, they are no longer able to produce sales because it's like there's no dying quality about the actual product itself. So because it's such a good quality product, the shelf life of it isn't quick, and therefore people are holding on to their stuff and their product for longer, and therefore this business is running out of business because they're unable to sell and uphold the sales.
So that's why they, like we always say, they cut the dope. They're just like,
Right.
you know what?
Okay,
Right, yeah. That
but that's
So-
what I'm
makes sense.
saying. Some people do it to make money. Some people do it for a purpose. You know what I mean? Oh, they don't like for example, like Uber. I guarantee the Uber guy said, like, I remember this was like one of our episodes years ago when we talked about Uber and how they try to ban Uber. It's like a lot of times Uber was a big thing because taxi people were the dons. Taxi people were running us ragged, right? And then now, the man, whoever created it, said, not anybody can drive a taxi. Eureka, Uber. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, now you're at a place where it's like, there's some people, yes, they'll do it for a business. Yes, you need to make money. But there's some people that will ethically do it to be like, hey, you know, I was a person that was in the sweatshop, and I don't like what is happening. No money in the world is worth this. They're going to kill that man. The real philanthropists, they're going to kill that man. Because everybody needs to make our money. You know what I mean?
Okay, you said sweatshops, right? I seen something on Twitter recently where Sheen invited like collaborators, and like people were getting at them in the comments like, "Yo, you're showing like almost the clean part of your factory, like the workers are happy and everything like that, and then, but they're not seeing the real, rugged like the sweat,
But yo,
the dirt."
Allegedly, some of these, was it Fashion Nova? Allegedly, a lot of these clothes had like cancerous chemicals in the clothes or something like this.
What they
I don't
spray?
know how true this was.
What they spray it with apparently.
Rotted.
That's yeah.
So it's high. It's low impact over long periods of time.
Yeah.
Chronic. Yes.
Still not okay though.
But I mean, who is at fault? Because if it's cheaper to get the stuff that will work and it's more carcinogenic or it's like better, it's worse for your livelihood or your health. But the people who know that it's going to be worse they make it at a low price. But the people who know something that's better, cleaner, more optimal, this, that, and the third, and ideal, ideal, yes. Especially for the betterment of society, the individual, and the work environment, they want to charge it up the hoo-ha. So who's to blame?
I mean, people are to blame. Yeah, like
the person who's greedy, clearly.
Yeah. Right. Now, hold on. Slide back with the sub, right? 250,000 a seat. How'd they go to the washroom?
That was the other thing. Suppose there's a little hole.
They showed us a little toilet.
Little hole thing, yeah.
So it was like in a jailhouse style. Like there's someone just everyone's just in there and the guy just pulls.
Yep.
I gotta use the washroom, and then you just.
Everyone's looking at you while you go and take a poop.
That's.
That is heinous. But here's my thing.
Those tacos.
$250,000 per seat to go on a submarine. $250,000.
Imagine.
That is crazy.
And you can't even stand up, eh? So you're really kneeling to go and poop, and you're really kneeling to pee.
That's. They really put them back.
The size of an man. I don't even know how do people use the washroom.
Yo, honestly, the demonstration of it out here.
Wow.
If y'all know how those certain commercials where they tell you how you're actually supposed to go to the washroom, they said that the Western society toilet is not the healthiest way to go to the washroom. They say that you're actually supposed to be squat.
Yeah.
This is how they probably are taking a shit.
Wow.
In front of each other.
Yeah, and just.
And of course, because they all got, they got dinglings, so they gotta like push the thing down and pee in the hole too.
But keep this in mind.
It's like a porta potty.
Keep this in mind. I'm starting to realize that a lot of rich people, or like, I don't know what the word is for these type of people, but like,
right. People who are financially stable, yeah, let's say that.
I don't know,
overly abundantly stable. Probably will never see the end of their money. Yes.
Certain societal things don't cut it anymore. Like, it's not it anymore. Like,
What do
But
you mean?
can you say?
snorkeling,
But
I
wait.
don't want to do that
Well,
anymore.
wait. Can you say that
Snorkeling,
they
I
are
already seen this.
societal things? But how would they say that these are societal things if they never have experienced every other group of people?
But that's what I'm saying. They can pay to. They probably seen, like, you know what I mean?
But I
Like,
can watch them on TV. I
right.
don't have to interact with them. Those
Listen, I can pay.
I, I'm gonna interact with them. I can watch them on TV. Like,
These people can pay to get in. I mean, look at hip hop. You can pay to get in.
that's a sad fact. That's a sad.
A
Yo,
lot of these people are not a part of the culture, but they have the money to be a part of the culture.
Understood.
right.
But like they would have more fun if they just actually met somebody who really only had 20,000 in their bank account every year.
But that's not what they want. They want the culture.
They
But that's a part of the culture. You pay
but
somebody to be
No, no,
your tour
they don't
guide.
want
That's
you to be
it.
a part of the culture.
not
They want
the tour guide.
Simple.
Yo,
Let that be known. If you are making over $1 million and you want to be a part of the culture, pay somebody so they can be your tour guide, and now you have access to the culture.
but they don't want to be the
Okay.
tour guide. They
All
want
right.
to own the tour guide. They want to own it.
well, that okay, yeah. So they would, if this is alleged, they would use the tour guide technique, and then eventually just own the culture, and then push the person
Exactly.
out the culture.
That is fine. But
That's fine.
that is fine. But you would have to actually meet who owns the culture at the moment anyways through that person.
So are you gonna be fine eating Starbucks rice and beef or Starbucks palau? Huh?
You say Starbucks palau?
You gonna be okay with Starbucks palau? Huh? In Eglinton? Huh?
Starbucks palau
I cannot.
sounds insane.
Because yeah, they want to be a part of the culture. They can you say you're okay with that. You okay with that?
How would Starbucks do with a Caribbean restaurant? Now I'm curious about that now.
But are you okay with that? That's what I'm asking.
Well,
That's
it
not
would be
about how
nice
would
to
they
actually
do.
see
It's,
them
are you
in
okay?
the culture first.
I'm gonna say nah, cause we seen what franchises do, and it's not working so far.
That means they would actually have to be in their house though.
Well, yeah,
So when would that happen? That's gonna take a bit.
that's yeah.
That's gonna take a
Says who?
bit.
Says who?
Says
who?
says me. How long does it take for you to meet a new person before they get into your house?
Yo, it takes a while still.
Exactly.
I don't just let. I don't just let.
I'm not
anybody
letting
in my
anyone
house.
in my house, so
Yeah.
it's gonna take a bit.
If you have the right money to just buy the house, it doesn't matter if you need to take time to get in the house.
It still would take time.
That's kind of fair.
I mean, this is a fine example about it. You have enough money, you do whatever you want. And that's what I'm saying. You can literally do whatever you want, like get a submarine.
Understood.
And
But
go
how
on
come
a
they
walk.
couldn't pay for the safety and liabilities on top of it?
Oh, that's just the CEO being cheap, allegedly. I mean,
You got the money.
but he has the money, but he wants to make more money. So some people cut corners anyway.
Yeah, but they could have charged extra. They could have upsailed on that.
Could've, but they rather
They
not.
really
But-
could have.
Cut corners.
See, you know,
It's more.
hold on. This world, some people like, if they could really like cut corners, like I understand upselling like the material,
You could have
right?
upsailed so much. You could have upsailed the adventure. You could have upsailed the safety. You could have upsailed the actual air tightening with actual tools instead of manual hand tools. Like you could have upsailed it all.
Yeah, but you know what's the easy?
not how it
You know what the
works.
least path of resistance is? I'll just cut the corner. I don't want to do all that.
Right. Right.
It's sad, but you know what? You know
Are
how,
we okay? Hold on. Are we talking from a place of people who don't have money or a place of people who have money?
No, they have it, but they're it's no. I realize it's a psychological thing. Like it's even when someone's making a lot of money. Like let's say they produce $1 billion a year, right? They got people like shareholders to attend to and everything. They want to make $1.5 billion next year. They could make the product better, and it sounds nice what you're saying. It sounds nice, but they're just like, well, let's just cut staff. Easy, just cut staff. We're not gonna make the product better, really.
Remember,
We're not even gonna really
you
spend
gotta-
on advertisement. We're just gonna cut the staff. Just
You see it with certain
see it every
companies.
day.
Sometimes you have 5 people in the job at first, and then you realize 4 people can do the job. Let's get rid of 1. Then you realize 3 people can do it. Let's get rid of 1. You gotta milk people. That's what they do. They milk people.
Understood, but for their own satisfaction, I'm saying about this, for their own satisfaction, do you think that they would not pay to have the utmost service and the utmost experience?
There is no such thing as customer satisfaction sometimes. In certain things, customer satisfaction does not mean anything. Because you're just giving them the money. They don't care. You're gonna get it anyway. You're gonna get it this way or that way.
It's
Customer
wild, but
satisfaction is not a thing.
See,
it's not something people focus on. They say it is because it sounds good. It makes you feel happy while they're robbing.
Yeah, this kind of gives me a little bit of somebody's trying to get the trust fund money, like.
Ooh,
Cause.
Well, I mean,
this is with the stepson. No, the stepson, right?
Well, he was on there too, no?
No, he wasn't.
no.
He was at a concert and texting OnlyFans women and cussing out Cardi B. He was doing a lot. While his dad was being crushed by Poseidon under the water.
My nigga said Poseidon. Anyway, the reason why I say like we can't really jump, like this is as much as we gotta realize. Allegedly, people has passed away, has been confirmed, I guess, by
Who?
higher ups, right?
Who?
The higher ups, whoever they were. I don't remember what.
I like how you're referring to the higher ups. That's making me laugh right now. The higher ups said.
But you got to keep this in mind, guys. This, like, he's grieving. And the problem is, this is the problem, because it's like, this bad situation happens, and let alone, like, just the controller, what controlled the submarine was crazy.
A PS4.
See, okay.
PS4 controller. Not even a 5.
Kind of going back to your question of like, do you think that society is desensitized to death? And I was saying no.
Right.
But like, I think the reason why me saying that people are not desensitized to death is because of the actual causation of the death. Right? Like,
it was very avoidable.
Yeah, like I said, the fact that we're stressing about all these other factors that implicated, even when we go on a boat as everyday citizens, the liability forms, the checks, today's commercial airlines, they say how many people are checking, how many times this flight is being looked over, the checklist, and so it's like all these steps could have been done, and yet this is a trip that has been done. People have gone on this trip, and yet these steps were not done.
I'll say this because,
yeah,
that was a good take, and I don't want people to believe that I'm cooning out for these people. I'm just saying. I will say
I'm not going to repeat that. I'm not going to repeat that.
There is like, a lot of things that don't make sense in how you die and this and that. I agree with you. I agree with you with that. I'll say that. That's something that's factual. I just feel that it's like, yes, a lot of things don't make sense. It just doesn't make sense to me as a whole. Like, nothing makes sense in this situation.
Yeah.
What if they were looking for treasure? I'm sorry, I have to go there.
Somebody's inheritance is on the boat.
On
the Titanic.
I mean,
sorry, that's a lot of like I keep talking a lot of these theories. I'm so sorry.
Nah, but like they could have been trying to discover an artifact.
Maybe.
Right?
I'm gonna say this.
But again, what happened to the Jacques expeditions when they had all the film crew with them and everything?
Look, man, the budget ran out.
Listen.
We were just talking about budget cuts.
Leave
$250,000
Aquaman's place alone. It's not yours anymore. If it's synced and it's down there, you don't need to see it. It's not yours anymore.
No, but I mean, like, yes, it is worth to see. See, like that, even saying that, right? Like, I think that we should discover these things. If somebody has the money to go and discover it, definitely do it for sure.
What is it? 95% of the ocean is not explored.
A lot of it is not. But I think we should take some time. Obviously, some people are going to die in the process of doing so, which is normal. Because again, these are untreaded territories. And like most things that are untreaded, and unaware of or unknown, people do die in the process of it. But those people are making the choice to do so for opening up the gates for other people to be able to have that access. Because again, that is a form of privilege. Okay?
Right.
Again, these people privileged did that. That's what it is. I don't deny that people should go and explore. But what I feel like, what I am listening to and hearing is that the negligence is what I'm hearing to ensure that there was even a capability for a high level of success.
How come they didn't talk about that actually? Like the success of like. Yeah, I didn't really hear like.
That's what I'm saying. There's so many things that I'm like, we're too tripped up on the fact that these millionaires died. It's like, okay, are they looking for sympathy?
I'm looking for some type of respect on the death.
Yeah, of course.
Like when I see one meme, I laughed and I felt bad that I laughed. And it was a nigga going underwater and saying it was like a meme saying that when you find out that the man's left their stuff, their funds, their credit card in the submarine.
Oh.
And the man is somewhere in the world. I cannot, like, the dark humor is terrible to me. It's terrible.
Was this equal or worse when the Queen passed?
But here's the thing. The thing about it, I know the Queen did not, like, for me, it wasn't even the Queen because it's like, for me, when it comes to death and people reacting to death, two things I know for sure that were iconic. That I was like, oh my gosh, these people are going in. Was the Queen and Kevin Samuels.
Yeah, jeez. Yeah.
I've seen hell is hot for some people, and they believe it's okay, and that's fine. The choice is yours. But the Queen too. Hell is like some people were saying some stuff that I kind of just went, ooh, now that was harsh. You know what I mean?
Right.
But at the end of the day, I feel like, you know, I know you say it's okay for people to discover, but at the same time, I'm kind of confused because people are still trying to discover them damn self. So it's like
bars.
Let alone go into the sea. The sea will be there for like, but let's just figure out your brain first, at least. If there's anything you need to discover and invest some money into, it is yourself and your mental health.
Yes, this is true. This is very true.
Anything you want to put some money into, it's mental health, and yeah, you know, I think that is well needed. Because I feel like social media has desensitized a lot of things. People just be posting dead bodies like it's nothing.
It's a little. Yeah, Twitter's kind of.
And how, like, as a kid, remember seeing something like that is like traumatic. It's like you see it and you're like, oh my god, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
Now, you see it as just out in the open. Like even in the newspaper, they don't have no problem showing black people dying on screen.
That's just,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
no, if you notice, they don't easily. They don't care the condition. They just show it.
So
right?
I don't know. It's just a weird, sick, sad world. I say sick, sad world.
I wonder why.
Now, just due to time constraints, I want to thank everyone for listening. Plugs.
What happened? What time is it?
Oh,
word.
Yeah.
Yeah, we took a deep dive into this situation.
I mean, we could do 10 more minutes.
You sure?
Yeah, we could do 10 minutes.
Okay, so we can do now. Okay.
I'm an asshole.
Oh, we got it. Okay, yeah. I want to do not only relationships we talk about and advice that we give, but this new sub. This sub has been here for a while, but it's called "Am I the Asshole?" So people have all sorts of scenarios, and they ask the general public, the internet, like, "Am I an asshole for doing this? For reacting this way? For taking money? From giving money? Right? Okay, hold on.
Out of this situation.
Right.
Again, another relationship dynamic question.
It is a subgenre of it, actually. Yeah.
Yes.
In a way.
I love it. Because,
Talk to me.
one of the biggest things, as we're talking about, like finding ourselves and self-discovery, once you find yourself, you start to understand what relational dynamic actually is fitting for you and which is not.
Sometimes it sounds like a whole bunch of hoopla.
It's really not. Like, for example, if you know that you want to be taken care of, why would you go with somebody who also wants to be taken care of?
But here's my question. Do you know how to take care of yourself first?
But yeah, they know how to take care of, but they like to be taken care of.
How would you know if you want to be taken care of most of the time?
But that's where it goes back to you finding out. Like, sometimes you have to be in a relationship to understand yourself too, right?
So why does somebody have to be their test dummy?
Why does somebody have to
be the test dummy to find out? Well, you know what? That's just interactions and development.
That is interactions and development. That's what I'm saying. Like, in order for you to know this, you have to go through and actually pay attention to the types of relationships you like. Like, if you are the type who likes to be taken care of, and when I say taken care of, that means like you're not the one making the plans. Not to say that you're not capable. Note the difference. Not that you're not capable of making plans.
Are they capable?
But somebody else is taking the plans on, and you're like, okay, I'll follow. You're not making the dinner, but you know how to cook, but somebody else is cooking for you. You can make money, but someone showers you with money. So it's like, it's not that you're not capable. That's different. But you just know that the type of person that you're attracted to is the one who will do this for you and does it willingly, without conditions, without any, like, they just love to do it because that's their dynamic. They love to give, and they always like to be that person who's giving while you're receiving. But people don't want to sit down and think about that.
All right.
Yeah. What? Let's hear this. Who is the a-hole?
So, okay. For short abbreviation, AITA. So, am I the asshole for asking for my money back after getting kicked out of a wedding party for a rumor that wasn't true? So, okay.
What was the rumor?
We're going to find out. Am I the asshole? I said asshole. Asshole. For asking the bride of the wedding to reimburse me for the costs I incurred while participating in her wedding festivities.
Wait. This is a guess?
Wait.
This is, it sounds like a guess, yeah.
So a guess is going to the bride.
Correct.
And asking for a refund.
Correct.
Of their money.
Right.
To the person's wedding. Okay, continue. I'm following.
Okay, yes, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So,
sorry, continue. Yeah, just
the costs I incurred while participating in her wedding festivities because I was kicked out of the wedding due to an untrue rumor. For some background, me and the bride have been friends since college, and I've been close since. I was asked to be the bridesmaid in her wedding, and of course accepted because I love her and wanted to help her celebrate her big day. During the months leading up to the wedding, I bought several items for the wedding itself and paid for my portion of the bachelorette trip, which was a joint trip with the groom and his groomsmen and a few added friends. The weekend of the trip came and we loaded up the car and set off to our destination. The whole rumor started that I attempted to sleep with one of the groom's friends on the trip, which was not true and had no logical basis. The rumor was started by another bridesmaid who was upset that me and the guy she was currently talking to used to have a relationship years ago. And when he found out that I was on the trip, he started asking her questions concerning me and my life at the present time. I have not spoken to this guy since we cut off contact 2 years ago. So she saw me conversing with one of the groom's friends at the bar. We had gone to the first night of the trip. She took it upon herself to start saying that she saw me and this friend of the groom's who was married sneak off to the bathroom to hook up. Damn, 6:30 in the bathroom? Okay, this, of course, 6:30 in the bathroom is crazy. This, of course, did not happen, but with the girl being a friend of the bride's much longer than me, the bride took her side and asked me to leave the bachelorette trip the next morning. In total, I was on the trip for less than 24 hours. The trip was booked for 5 days. Later after the trip, about a week before the wedding, I texted the bride a question about the dress and was met with a long text about how I was no longer part of the bridal party, and would not be able to attend the wedding due to the rumors. She informed me that her whole family and the groom's family was uncomfortable with my being a part of the event due to the rumor, since the friend that I allegedly slept with was a longtime friend of the groom's family. He would not be uninvited. So am I the asshole
For asking your money back?
Yeah, asking the bride to be reimbursed for the rest of the trip I was not allowed to stay for, and the other charges I incurred for the sole purpose of being in her wedding.
Okay, I mean, that's fair. You're not. I don't think so. I was thinking if she was still on the trip and then everything else, then fair. But if she's not going to be able to go to the wedding, she paid for part of the wedding. If she didn't get to stay for the duration of the trip because she was kicked out for something that was false, then yes, I do think that she should ask for her refund.
I'm gonna go left. I'm gonna say no. I think once she put down the money, and money is something that's like very hard to return. I mean, everybody has stories about giving money to something, it doesn't work out. I mean,
My question is, why'd she leave though? If she didn't do something, why'd she leave?
I mean,
I'm unfortunately, I'm one of those people. I'm arrogant as fuck. Especially if I know I'm right. I'm gonna sit there and watch you in your face. I paid for this trip. I'm staying here. What?
You would still stay even though you already know you're not wanted in a sense?
Yes, I'm staying. I paid for this trip. I paid my hard-earned money, and you want to sit up here and listen to lies? I'm gonna sit here and eat the breakfast in front of your face and eat.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes. Okay. You want to sit in here and lie? Listen. The first thing I was gonna really say in response to this, I was gonna really say.
Oh God.
I was gonna say,
Yo.
I will let God handle this.
Right.
That was it. Your matrimony may not survive very long.
Damn, you put
because you want to listen to a fart.
Wow.
So I will let God handle it. That was the first response I was gonna say. But if the fact that they're gonna tell me to cut my trip short because of some rumor about me hooking up with somebody, y'all are not grown-ups. First off, who cares who is in my bed? That's one. Two, so-and-so doesn't also get to leave either? That's crazy. I'm gonna sit here the next day. You're gonna see my stuff still unpacked, and I'm gonna wake up and go downstairs in the kitchen and eat my breakfast at the table. Until I'm done, you're gonna hear the spoon hit the bowl. Listen, you're not what you're not gonna do.
Wow.
Is that?
Yo. You
All
know
right.
what? I'm gonna make a scenario though. What if she did try to do a small thing and got caught?
If she did and she got
She's just
caught,
not admitting it.
see now, if she did,
If that was the case, that's different.
That's different.
Because now you're in the fact that you did try thing, it didn't work out, and then they're still mad at you about it.
exactly.
But
Then
the fact that she said she didn't, that makes it,
yeah, but and that
tricky.
it sounds like bullying too.
I mean,
Because if so and so doesn't like you and they're upset because the man, or they're jealous and they're taking this as a form of revenge against the person because they don't like them, because the person they like is starting to talk about them because of interest,
right.
you sound jealous. And you just sound like you're bitter and you're trying to make this person's life difficult.
It's similar to what happened when you came here and explained that story. It sounds.
Listen, but the thing is,
sounds very similar.
very similar. But the thing is, if I know that I did not do anything, this is what I'm saying. Somebody would look at me and say I'm very arrogant in that regard.
Right.
But one thing about me, if I did not do anything, this is where I'm too proud sometimes. Because I will not get up and leave and let you have... No, you will hear the spoon hit the empty bowl as I'm done eating my breakfast, okay?
Hit the empty bowl.
Yo.
You can sit here and think all you want. I know what the truth is, and that energy that I have will make you uncomfortable, and I will make sure it's uncomfortable for you because you're making me uncomfortable.
Wow.
We're going to stay uncomfortable, but I know I'm going to stay on the side of truth with the discomfort.
Okay.
That sounds like a Captain American quote. Captain America. That sounds like
That's it.
some
I'm going to
Steve
sit on
Rogers
the
shit.
side of truth in the discomfort.
You can't even say that because Steve Rogers was living a lie for the longest time.
Oh yeah, technically he's a Hydra man apparently.
What the Hydra
Not
man?
necessarily.
Oh, you're not going at that angle. Oh.
He knew who killed Tony Stark's father.
Oh, right. And protected the killer. That's a crazy line. That's a crazy story still.
Because what would happen is that, okay, now what would happen later on? You tell me how I can't be a part of this wedding. Cool. I don't show up for the wedding, right? Like, because it's a later date, I don't show up. But the day of, like, the actual excursion, no, I'm going to stay for this excursion. I pay for my money. So when now it comes your marriage, who do you think is going to be the one person who's going to be wrecking your stuff? Clearly not me.
Yo, that... I mean...
When all the shit starts hitting the fan and I'm now out of your picture, who are you going to blame?
You know, that's some crazy thing when you think about it, because there's probably some people in your life that is waiting for that day.
Yeah.
Wow.
To ruin it, like just waiting, like they just there, just waiting for that day, and then you're like, oh my gosh, this is a villain character arc. This whole time I've been waiting for this day, and I waited for your wedding.
Be like, listen. There is actually a word for that, but
that's
I forget what the word is.
What for
Is that even okay? That's the question.
It's not okay.
But anyway, but yeah, I think she should ask for her money back.
I do think so
get
too.
it back. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's some kind of...
Especially if it was cut short. She wasn't even in 24 hours into the actual event.
Yeah, you ain't getting that.
So if
money
it's
back.
like 5 days and I only was there for 1 day,
That's kill.
4 days that I did not, and I paid for the wedding and I paid for whatever. No, you can keep the gifts, but the parts where I know that my contribution for it, no, I would like that back.
And please, like, I swear, I'm glad I don't have people that move like that.
Off a rumor. That's
Yeah, it's the rumor part for me.
I don't think they... I was trying to go on another angle, like just to even it out, but you know what? I don't think they even wanted her there, really.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It sounds like bullying.
It sounded like before a wedding, like they were kind of like about her, right? And then when it happened in person, they're just like, oh, you're just here and just, you know what?
You know what? I feel like she's pretty.
You
That's
come
the
here
issue.
all the time. Why are you here?
I said it. I said it.
A jealousy thing.
Yeah, it's a real jealousy. I think she's pretty.
I think
she's probably easy on the eyes. I think the guys are easy to talk to her. She probably is getting all the attention, and everyone is feeling uncomfortable because they're like, oh, all the guys want to talk to her. All this, everybody's this and that. She has such charisma. I really feel like that's what it is.
Let me ask you a question. Because I don't know how this works for brides and grooms. You as a bridesmaid, are you gonna dress, if you know that you're like more attractive?
That's funny.
Then you're the bride.
It doesn't matter.
Are you gonna like dump down your dressing? Like how does that work? Like,
it doesn't matter what you wear. You're gonna always be perceived as better, anyways. To the person who has an issue with you, who feels inferior.
Are you gonna be the common courtesy one to be like, you know what?
You're gonna like dress down.
Would you dress down for your friend?
It's a what's it called? A double-edged sword. No matter which way you look. Because if you are the better looking person, and I'm putting quotes around it, if you are the better looking or the easier person on the eyes than the bride, right? If you dress regular, the bride is going to always feel inferior regardless. If that is the way that they feel, if they're not confident within themselves and they just recognize, okay, this person is beautiful, I'm beautiful, that's my friend. If they don't have that type of relationship with you, if they are like, oh my God, she's always so pretty and she's envious or jealous, it doesn't matter when you're wearing something regular, she's going to feel some type of way. If you tone it down and you're like, oh, let me not dress the way I would and let me just bring it down a few notches. Right. One that says that you are aware of that person's inferiority or insecurities.
Right.
And then you toning it down also will then say, well, why is she doing that? It still opens up the conversation of like, oh, so she decided to drop down because she knows she's gonna outdo me. Either which way, you're messed up.
I mean,
Especially if you have that person who's insecure and envious of you. But you shouldn't have
let us
friends
know in
like
the
that.
comments. Is she the asshole for asking for her money back?
I don't think so. Anyways, that is the time to go.
That is the time to go. I just want to say thank you for those listening. Plugs, guys, plugs. James, what you plugging?
You can follow me, Jay Hunterville. I'm gonna be on a little hiatus. I've been on a hiatus if you think about it, but I'm gonna be on a little bit more of a hiatus. You know, working, grinding, man. This is like time for me to like work and stuff.
Right.
It's been chaos. Like, but I'll be here. I'll be calling in, but I'll be here. And if I'm not here, you know, y'all know what it is. You know, Del Pressure Energy will hold the fort. You know what I mean?
Right.
And yeah, but I'm out here. You know, Medea. Jay Hunterville. This boy's profile out. Twitch, not twitching for a bit, but I'll be out here.
Okay. Myself, Del Nigiro, DELNIJIRO. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, support.
And you could definitely find me on Instagram at TheNerdZ, TheNerdZZZ, and definitely follow my photography page at Triple Z Studio, TOZZZ.STUDIOTO. And yeah, make sure you follow, subscribe, and check out what's happening.
Right.
Follow me. Why won't you follow me? Sorry, I don't know why that song came to mind.
If you have any questions, concerns, complaints,
Comments.
yes, scenarios, send it to the
AskTheVent
at gmail.com. I was supposed to say send it to the Gmail. I was like, ASKTHEVENT@gmail.com.
Yes, and don't forget to tag, comment underneath in our posts on Instagram, on YouTube, and all that good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to everybody that was posting, bro. Like, everything I've been seeing, we got like 2,000 likes. We're getting up there. Thank you for support. Y'all, you know, just keep saying how you feel. This is what the event is all about.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, yo.
Some of you have said some interesting things. I'll put it like that. But
Yes.
But yes, this is the vent, and we're out. Peace.